If you think in terms of independence, I know that Dori really valued people being as independent as possible and having economic self-sufficiency, of being physically capable, even if they might have a handicap or be challenged in some ways. So I think she really represents a spirit of independence.
And I enjoyed her immensely. She's a very warm and caring individual, and she has done a lot of work for the community, and certainly for MCFI.
Her purpose, I think, was to help others help themselves. In fact, she was always a very independent woman. She had wanted to go into theater as a young woman and had even worked in television in Chicago. Her father jokingly teased her, television's just a fad, you should go into teaching. But Dori didn't see teaching in that way as something for her to do. But in many ways she became our teacher. She taught us how to help others help themselves by her very deep involvement in helping make this a better world. And so we looked to her, I looked to her when I first came to Milwaukee, and I know that many other organizations look to her to help us understand how to help others help themselves. I think that helps explain her deep involvement, and I believe she was serving God's purposes too, and God worked through her.
I think her most significant contributions actually have been as a board member of so many organizations. I know they talk about her having been on 50 different nonprofit boards. And when Dori was on a board, she wasn't just a name. She worked, she contributed. And I think many people who worked with Dori on boards or worked as staff, as I did, regarded her as a role model, as a mentor, and really learned a lot from her. I was talking not too long ago with someone who was on a board with Dori, and he said, you know, I learned so much from Dori, and I always felt that if I were to be a good board member, I would want to be like Dori.
And she certainly didn't hesitate to ask questions or supply answers, and she did so in a very thoughtful way.
And again, the range of her involvements, from Planned Parenthood to her congregation to a neighborhood economic development corporation like Riverworks, the Greater Milwaukee Foundation. It's just an amazing array of organizations that she worked for.
Dori, you know, there were times when the board would be deliberating on some things that really weren't that meaningful, but she would be real persistent with getting us to move on and to get into more of the more important things that we needed to deal with. I'd say that it was primarily broadening our mission so that we could evolve into a more community-based kind of an organization, so that we weren't just serving the area's employers, but that we were actually serving the employers and the neighborhood residents.
She was always forward-thinking and had the interests of the clients in her mind.
I think she really embodied community service. She was a volunteer. She never got paid for any of the things she did, and she did it so well.
And there was this true love affair with Milwaukee that I think is also reflected in the Spirit of Independence Award, which you're presenting to her. That she, perhaps, regardless of all the different organizations and institutions, and separate, of course, from her love for her husband and her family, and I want to selfishly say her love for our congregation, there was a love for the city of Milwaukee and all of its people. And she wanted to help build those lives in as many ways as she could. And I thank you for, in her memory now, presenting this award.